Ike, what is taking so long? Ngozi's voice trembled as she confronted her husband in their modest hut. The elders are beginning to talk. They say a woman who cannot bear children is a curse upon her husband. Ngozi's heart pounded as she saw the sadness in her husband's eyes. Ike was a loving and patient man, but the pressure from his family was becoming unbearable. Ngozi, my love, we have only been married for 2 years. These things take time, he said, his voice calm yet firm. But the whispers are growing louder. Your mother, Ngozi's voice broke as she struggled to hold back tears. Ike gently took her hands in his. Do not worry about my mother. We'll have children when the time is right. Trust in the God's timing. Yet, as the days turned into months, Ngozi's desperation grew. Her mother-in-law's constant jabs and the villagers' beating looks were like knives to her heart. She knew she had to do something, anything, to change her fate. One night, after another heated argument with her mother-in-law, Ngozi decided she couldn't take it anymore. She resolved to seek help from a renowned herbalist in a neighboring village. She had heard whispers of his miraculous cures and hoped he might have a solution for her. The journey was long and arduous, but Ngozi's determination drove her forward. Upon reaching the herbalist's home, she was greeted by an elderly man with wise eyes and a calm demeanor. Welcome, my daughter, he said, his voice soothing. What brings you to my humble abode? Ngozi poured out her heart to him, explaining her plight and her deepest fears. Herbalist listened patiently before examining her thoroughly. You are healthy, my daughter, he finally said. There is no reason you cannot bear children. But sometimes, the answer lies not with you, but with your husband. Bring him to me and we shall see. Returning home with a glimmer of hope, Ngozi eagerly shared the herbalist's words with Ike. However, her husband's reaction was not what she expected. I will not go, Ike said firmly. There's nothing wrong with me. These herbalists are charlatans. Ngozi pleaded, tears streaming down her face. Ike, please. If not for anything, do it for us. I cannot bear the shame any longer. Ike's heart ached, seeing his wife's pain, but his pride would not let him concede. Trust in the gods, Ngozi. Our time will come. As months passed, Ngozi's plight worsened. Her mother-in-law's cruelty knew no bounds. The villagers' whispers turned into open mockery, and even Ike's once unyielding support began to waver under the weight of societal pressure. Desperate, Ngozi visited another herbalist, and then another, each giving her the same answer. She was healthy and capable of bearing children. The problem, they said, might lie with her husband. But Ike remained steadfast in his refusal, leaving Ngozi to suffer the brunt of this community scorn. One fateful day, Ike's mother, unable to bear the shame of her son's childless marriage any longer, brought another woman into their home. This is Ezinne, she said. She will give us the grandchildren that Ngozi has failed to provide. Ngozi felt her world collapse around her. Ike's face turned ashen with shock. But before he could speak, his mother continued. This is for the good of our family. We need an heir. Ezinne, a beautiful and seemingly kind woman, was just as much a victim in this arrangement. But her presence drove a wedge between Ngozi and Ike. The house became a battlefield with tension and heartache seeping into every corner. As weeks passed, Ezinne's presence only exacerbated the issue. Ike was torn between his love for Ngozi and his mother's unrelenting demands. The village watched with bated breath, whispering rumors and waiting for the inevitable fallout. One evening, after a particularly cruel taunt from her mother-in-law, Ngozi fled into the forest, seeking solace among the ancient trees. She poured out her anguish, praying to the gods for guidance and strength. A soft voice broke through her sobs. Why do you cry, my child? Ngozi looked up to see an elderly woman, Her eyes filled with compassion. I am cursed, Ngozi whispered. I cannot give my husband a child. The old woman smiled gently. You are not cursed, my dear. Sometimes, the path of our heart's desire is fraught with trials. But know this, the gods have a plan for you. Have faith and be strong. Ngozi returned home with renewed determination. She would not let her mother-in-law's cruelty break her. She would fight for her marriage and for the love she and her husband shared. That night, as they lay in bed, Ngozi took Ike's hand and whispered, Ike, I met a wise woman in the forest. She said the gods have a plan for us. Please, let us seek the answer together. Come with me to the herbalist. Ike looked into her eyes, seeing the pain and hope mingling there. His heart softened and he nodded. For you, Ngozi, I will go. The next morning, they set off for the herbalist's home. Ike was nervous, but Ngozi's presence gave him strength. Upon arrival, the herbalist welcomed them warmly and began his examination. After a thorough checkup, the herbalist turned to Ike and said, There is blockage preventing you from fathering a child, but do not be afraid. With the right herbs and treatments, this can be remedied. Ike was stunned, guilt washing over him. I am the reason. But the herbalist interrupted gently. Blame is not necessary, only action. Follow my instructions and in time, you will be healed. Ike and Ngozi returned home from the herbalist remedies and a newfound hope. Ike began the treatment, and the couple's bond grew stronger as they faced the challenge together. Ezinne, sensing the shift, approached Ngozi one evening. I never wanted to come between you and Ike. If there's hope for you, I will leave. Ngozi, touched by Ezinne's kindness, replied, Stay until you find a place of your own. You do not have to be enemies. As Ike continued his treatment, the village watched with curiosity. Whispers spread around about the herbalist remedies and the possibility of a child. Ike's mother, skeptical at first, began to see the change in her son and in her daughter-in-law's relationship. One night, as they sat by the fire, Ike's mother approached them. I have been harsh, she admitted. I only wanted what was best for our family. Please forgive me. Ike said, We forgive you, mother. Let us move forward with hope and unity. Months passed, and Ike's health improved significantly. The villagers, seeing the positive change, began to support the couple, offering prayers and encouragement. One day, Ngozi felt a strange sensation in her belly. She visited the village midwife, who confirmed the news. She was pregnant. Overwhelmed with joy, Ngozi rushed home to share the news with Ike. Ike could not believe his ears. He lifted Ngozi in his arms, spinning her around with joy. We are going to have a child, he exclaimed. The news spread quickly, and the village erupted in celebration. Ike's mother, once so harsh, now embraced Ngozi with tears of joy. Ezinne too rejoiced, knowing she had played part in this miracle. As Ngozi's due date approached, a severe drought hit the village. Crops withered, and the water became scarce. The villagers grew anxious, fearing for their livelihood and the well-being of the unborn child. Ike and Ngozi prayed fervently, trusting that the gods would provide. The village elders performed rituals, seeking divine intervention. Their faith was soon rewarded when rain finally fell, rejuvenating the land and bringing hope to the people. On a cold evening, Ngozi went into labor. The village midwife and other women gathered to assist, while Ike waited anxiously outside. The hours seemed like an eternity, but finally, the cries of a newborn was heard. Ike rushed in to find Ngozi cradling a beautiful baby girl. Tears streamed down his face as he held his daughter for the first time. She's perfect, he whispered, his voice choked with emotion. Ngozi, exhausted but radiant, smiled up at him. We did it, Ike. Our prayers have been answered. The weeks following the birth were filled with sleepless nights and joyful moments. Ike and Ngozi quickly adapted to their new roles as parents, with the support of their loving community. Ike's mother, now a doting grandmother, could not get enough of her granddaughter. "She is the light of our family," she often said. One morning, Ezinne approached Ngozi. "I think it's time for me to leave. I found a place in a neighboring village where I can now stay." Ngozi hugged her tightly and said, "Thank you, Ezinne. You've been a part of our journey and we are grateful for your understanding and kindness." As Ezinne departed, there was a sense of closure. The chapter of tension and conflict was finally behind them, and the future looked brighter than ever. Over the next few years, their family thrived. With Amara, their daughter, their home was filled with laughter and love. Ike and Ngozi's hearts were full, and they often reflected on their journey with gratitude and humility. They had faced incredible odds, but their love and faith had seen them through.